This is the Pikachu brother of Pikachu. So we still be continue learn about. I think you already know study over basic.
Hey everybody, it's
But
Brian
it's
and
Brian, and
welcome to
welcome.
the 38th Qt tutorial with C++ and GUI programming. We're going to continue our conversation about the QList and iterators. I already have some code written, very simple. It just creates a list, populates the list. So, didn't want to waste your time adding that in there, so let's just jump right in here. We'll say Q and list iterator. We got to give it a generic type. Call iter. Give it the list. Sorry about that, I don't have my glasses on again. I'm nearsighted and I'm trying to wean myself off my glasses, so if anybody has any experience with that, let me know. I'd be really interested in knowing if my eyes will actually improve or not. So we'll say while iter has next. And what we're going to do is we're going to say we want to go through this list and modify it. So let's just say int I equal iter next. So we're going to grab that item and we're going to say if I equal 5. We say 5's been bad, so we want to get rid of 5. Well, we want to remove it from the list. So how would you do that? Well, if you say iter dot and you try remove, there's nothing there. How about delete? No. Well, what you need is you need a different iterator. So let's go q mutable list iterator. Now, what's the difference between a q list iterator and q mutable list iterator? Well, other than this snazzy word mutable, there's not a whole lot different. What does mutable mean? Mutable means it will change. Whenever you see the word mute in programming, typically they're not talking about speaker volume, they're talking about mutations, mutating something or changing something. So what we're doing is we're creating an iterator that will change. And we'll say, at this point, iter dot remove. So let's review this real quick here. We're going through our list. Our list has already been generated. And then we're going to iterate through each one. And if it's a certain value, we're going to remove it. Now, why would you do something like this? Well, let's say this is a list of cars. And we want all cars that are not black. The customer doesn't want a black car. Why? I don't know. I'd love a black car. But anyways, if it's a certain value, then remove it from our list. And then we can just simply say iter dot to front, and then while iter has next. And let's just print this out. Q debug iter next. So we're just going to print that out now that we've mutated or modified the list here. Compile and run, and if everything goes as planned, sure enough, it took 5 out of that list. Now, you may be wondering why you didn't just go into the list and do the remove beforehand. Well, you could have done that, but I really wanted to show you the iterator and the Q mutable list iterator, because they are very powerful and they get into some more complex code, which we'll be covering soon, like how to sort and search and things of that nature. So, this is Brian. I hope you found this video educational and entertaining, and thank you for watching. Hey everybody, it's Brian, and welcome to the 38th Qt tutorial with C++ and GUI programming. We're going to continue our conversation about the QList and iterators. I already have some code written. If none, thank you for watching. Well, each one means it will do list iterator. Generic. Our conversation. Hey everybody, it's Brian, and welcome to the 30.
When we synthesize you. I hope you done it today, but many videos, so step by step. Step by step. Okay.
Hey everybody, it's Brian. Welcome to the 9th Qt tutorial with C++ and GUI programming. Today we're going to be covering the Q linked list. So I'll go ahead and create just a simple console program. We'll call this linked. Put it in the usual location. Alright, and let's just add a few includes here. And in case you're wondering about my sloppy typing, yes, I'm still not wearing my glasses, so just bear with me here. The ironic thing is, though, my video game scores have actually gone up since I quit wearing my glasses. I can't figure that one out. I can barely see the screen, yet my score's gone up. Alright, so what is a Q-linked list and why do we need it? Well, a Q-linked list is like the Q list which you've been working with, but it's linked. What does that mean? Well, what it means is instead of allocating all the memory together in one contiguous chunk, the items can be spread out in memory. And to do that as a visual representation, I'll just kind of show you Wikipedia's linked list description. And this is not language specific, this is not platform specific, this is a general computer term. A linked list, if you will. Each item contains a pointer to the next. Or I should say, it's got a list inside of it that links to the next item. What that means is that these don't have to be all in the same chunk of memory. They could be spread out all over the place. This could be address 1, this could be address 20, this could be address 3, and it jumps around. So what's really the difference between a list and a linked list? Well, a list is very fast reading the list. So if you just want to iterate through the list, it's very fast doing that because it's all in one contiguous chunk. Now, vendor specific might be a little different depending on which vendor you're using, but it's all in one contiguous chunk, so it's very fast. Now, when you go to insert something, say in the middle of that list, it's very slow because it has to find a chunk of memory big enough for the new list size, create a whole new list, and do all this other stuff. That may or may not be true with Qt under the hood. I'm not quite sure how they handle it, but that's in general a list. A linked list, on the other hand, it's very fast to insert or delete things because it just changes these pointers. But to iterate over the list, it has to find the pointer, move to that point in memory, find the next one, move to that point in memory, and just keep going and going and going. So that's the main difference between the two. But the implementation is almost identical. So we say list. Actually, we can just say, bear with me one moment. Sorry about that, my mouse cord was hung up on something. So we can just populate this list here. And we'll just say, let's add 1, 3, and 5. We'll say for each int I in our list. And let's just say qdebug. I'm going to print some stuff out here. And we'll say I. Save and run this. So you see our implementation is identical, but under the hood it's a drastically different animal here. In case you've never seen this before, we're just inputting the list. You can still use the same old tried and true method, append. Well, pretty short tutorial. I just wanted you to really understand the differences between a list and a linked list and why you need the two. Really, all you need to remember is when you see the word linked list, just think of pointers. It's very fast insertions and deletions. This is Brian. Thank you for watching. I will print some stuff. You can make some list on the other side. It's very fast. Now, when you go to insert something, say in the middle of that list, it might say this is to list my sometimes we'll call it its purpose. If that is going to do implement. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video.
I think I will run on many people will see.
Hey everybody, this is Brian. Welcome to the 40th Qt tutorial with C++ and GUI programming. Today we're going to be covering the Q map. Now, if you look in the documentation, it says the Q map class is a template class that provides a skip list-based dictionary. What does that mean? Well, what it means is it provides a key value pair. So you enter an item, but it has a key. For example, records of employees. You have an employee ID number and the employee name. And that's kind of what we're going to build today. Let's just go File, New, Qt Console. and we'll say maps test.
Hello?
Let's just throw this in the usual location. Alright, now first thing we have to do is add some includes here. So
Bye, Ella.
qmap, qdebug. Alright, now let's actually make our map here. So we'll say qmap, and we want an integer for the employee ID, and we'll say a qstring for the name. Let's call this employees. There we go. Alright, we've got our map. Now we need to populate it. So we say employees insert. You notice there's an insert and an insert multi. What insert will do is add it, and if it exists, it'll overwrite it. And insert multi will add a new item to it. So we'll say insert. And the key, we'll say 1 is Bob.
Bro.
And we'll say 2 is Chad. And get this lined up here. 3 is Mary. And let's just print these out for each. I in employees, and you want to search the keys. Remember, this is a key value pair, so you want to grab all the instances of the keys and iterate through those.
Oh my gosh.
Qdebug. Let's just compile and run this and see what happens. Sure enough, we have Bob, Chad, Mary. So let's actually change Mary's debug. Let's see what happens here. That's how Bob, we want to take 1 and change that to, say Amy. Now you notice how Bob has now been changed to Amy, and it has added a second Amy. So, in case you're wondering, that's what happens when you do the insert multi. Let's just get rid of Amy here. Now, let's say you want to actually iterate over this list and discover the keys and the values. So what you need is a qmap iterator. And you need to give it the same template. So it's a qstring. And we'll call this iter. And it's going to iterate over the employees list. So while iter has next, we'll say iter next. So we'll just move to the next location here.
Pikachu. Okay, we continue.
Check some things out.
Yeah.
We want to get the key.
Insert key.
And let's get the name. So the key and the value are what we're really after here. We're just going to put an equal sign here so we can tell what's actually going on. Compile and run this. And you can see the for each macro just gives us the value. Where if we iterate through, we can get the key and value pairs. So we can see that 1 is Bob, 2 is Chad, 3 is Mary. Alright. Pretty easy stuff. Pretty powerful thing to use. Alright, this is Brian. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video educational and entertaining. Hey everybody, this is Brian. Welcome to the 40th Qt tutorial with C++ and Go programming.
When you show me,
value. Sure. And we want right at 8 is so it's going. We're really entertaining. You can act up the already debug in Mary. That's and bug and so it's going to go program sale keys on keys and we'll just spot. I hope you found move temps, get rid of and allow object. A new one's now. That's next map. Hey everybody, this is Brian. Welcome to
Oh my gosh, many video try hard.
Hey everybody, it's Brian. Welcome to the 41st Qt tutorial with C++ and GUI programming. Today I wanted to cover the Q hash. Now what you see before you is the remnants of our last tutorial, the Q map, and I wanted to discuss what is a Q hash and what is a Q map. Well, first let me explain why we have the source code from the previous example. Because the Q map and the Q hash have almost identical implementations. So you can literally just change your Q map to hash and recompile, and everything should run as expected. So why do you need a hash and a map? What are the differences between the two? If you go into the help module, you'll see a QHash class is a template class that provides a hash table-based dictionary. And clicking more will actually show you that a QHash class template provides a hash table, dictionary, blah blah blah, and is one of the generic container classes. So what's so special about this? Well, it provides similar functionality to a QMap. We've already discussed that. There are differences. Here are the differences. A QHash provides faster lookups than QMap. Much faster lookups, I should say. When iterating over a QMap, the items are always sorted by key. With hash, the items are arbitrarily ordered. What does that mean? Well, in a map, the items are sorted by the key. In a hash, the keys you add are actually hashed in the background. There is a hash. If you don't know what a hash is, it is a alphanumerical representation of a value. It's kind of like a CRC or an MD5 or an SHA1. If you know what any of those are, if not, go Google them. They're actually pretty interesting. The reason why it does this is there's an internal algorithm it uses. So let's say you have hashes 1 through 10, and you want to know the value of, say, Mary. So we'll say qdebug employees value, and we know her key is 3. So we just want to see what that is. We'll say 3 equals. Now let's just comment all this other stuff out real quick here. So we're performing a lookup here. We're saying, give me the value of this key. Well, when the hash goes out, the first thing it does is says, okay, you've got a bunch of things. We're just going to, for the sake of argument, say we have 10 things. It's going to split that in half and say, is the hash in the first half or the second half? What's in the second half? Or the first half? And then it's going to take wherever it finds it, in this case it would be in the first half, and it would say, okay, split that again. And it just keeps dividing until it finds and narrows it down, and it's very, very fast. Whereas a map will actually go through the entire list of keys until it finds it. So pretty neat, pretty powerful. If you're making some sort of program, let's say you're making a collection of, I don't know, you're making a collection of cats, and you're trying to go over them and do a lookup, and the lookups are just starting to take forever, switch from the QMap to the QHash, and you'll see your lookups are just much, much faster. Well, this is Brian. I know this is a short tutorial, but you really need to know the differences between these two. It'll make your life in coding land a lot happier down the road. Hope you found this video educational and entertaining, and thank you for watching. Hey everybody, it's Brian. Welcome to the 41st Qt tutorial with C++ and GUI programming. Today I wanted to cover the Q hash. Now what you see before you is the remnants of our last tutorial, the Q map, and I wanted to discuss what is a Q hash and what is a Q map. Well, first let me explain why we have the source code from the previous example. Because the Q map and the Q hash have almost identical implementations, blah blah blah. We're a start. Fine. And thank you for so value present the which so Q map explain why we have the source code from the if you go hash it back and see it. So let's just comment all this up, which is 1 through 10. I think it does down and do a look for it's internal. it's getting up the entire Q map, it'll be a lot happier. And first half or the second half, when the stuff, those are Q's dash back to table, it is Google because it's very, very fast. Whereas a map will actually go through.
Oh my god! Oh my gosh!
Everybody, it's Brian, and welcome to the 40-second Q tutorial with C++ and GUI programming. Today we're going to cover, now if you look at the documentation, the Q string list provides a list of strings. Now you might be wondering, why do you need this? You've already got the Q list, and Q length list, and Q map. Well, the Q string list adds additional functionality that makes your life working with a list of strings much, much easier. And we're going to cover some of those, so let's just jump right in. I've already got a console program made, and I've included a reference to QDebug. And we will just say, alright, include Q string list. And we'll just call it a list. And we can do, the tried and true list append. And let's just go for each Q string. For each Q string in our list. We're just going to print these out here. So you see the contents of what's going on there. So we've added a hello to our list here. Now, one thing you can also do is say, let's say you have a string. So we have Q string, and we'll call it line. We're just going to say A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So we got this comma separated string here. And what we want to do is we want to get these items into this list. And we want a very simple way of doing that. So what you do is you say list equals line dot split. And you just give it a separator so it knows what you want it to split on. And let's compile and run this. Sure enough, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So we've just very simply split all those apart. Now one thing you can do after you've done that is, let's say we want to do replace in strings. And one thing we want to do is we want to replace all the occurrences of a string. So we'll say anything's a B, we want it to say Batman. Compile and run this.
Batman.
Sure enough, B has been turned into Batman. Okay. Now let's say we've got our list, and we've done some manipulation to it, and we want to turn this list into a big string again. So let's just say Q string, we'll call this Batman, equal list join. And we want to separate these with a comma. And let's just print this out, so Q debug. Let's actually just comment this out so it doesn't clutter the screen here. Compile and run. And there's our list converted back into a Q string. Pretty neat. And you of course have all the other features of a Q list. So one thing you should really do is go out and look at the documentation for the Q string list, because I'm leaving a couple things out here. It's a very, very powerful class, and if you're going to be working with a list of strings, I highly recommend you use the Q string list instead of just a Q list, because you get all this added functionality. So this is Brian. I hope you found this tutorial educational and entertaining, and thank you for watching. Everybody, it's Brian, and welcome to the tried and true list here. And what we want to do, we'll run this. Here you've done this. We'll snuff B is pivot, join. Now, this is Brian. Let's please. There was comma hello to our with C++ and GUI programming.
Về đây. Một số chửi á.
Everybody, this is Brian, and welcome to the 43rd Qt tutorial with C++ and GUI programming. Today we're going to be going over an algorithm called qsort. One thing you should probably do is go out and look up qsort, and you'll see the Qt algorithms is the header that includes the generic algorithms, and these are how you really work with things such as lists and maps. Make your life a lot easier working with these things. So let's just dive right in and look at some code here. So we're just going to say qlist. We're just going to give it some ints. And let's just say 2, 3, 1, 0. And let's say we want to sort that list. Well, the first thing is to do a for each. We're just going to print this list out here. And we will say so let's just print this list out to verify that, sure enough, we have our list and it's in this semi-random order here, and we want to sort this thing. So what we will do is say qsort. And notice how it takes a container, or you can give it an iterator for the start and the end. So let's just give it the list container here. Run this. And that will sort the entire container. And you notice the other thing you could do is give it a begin and an end. So we'll say let's begin plus 1, and we'll say list dot end. We'll say minus 1. Let's just see what happens here. Compile and run this. And you notice how it didn't sort the beginning or the end. It only sorted in the middle here. See how it goes 2, there's 2, and 1 and 3 are now reversed. It's because you told it beginning plus 1 and minus 1. So you get a range to sort within. Very simple, yet very powerful algorithm that'll help you out a lot. Well, I hope you found this tutorial educational and entertaining, and thank you for watching. Hey everybody, this is Brian, and welcome to the 43rd Qt tutorial with C++. Work sort, and we will say, sure enough, we have sort the beginning and semi-random. You can do, we'll say minus 1. Change to switching. Work with qlist that list by the in the area. You notice the reversal. Everybody work here. And everybody, this is Brian. The thing you should probably do is go out this and our list, and it's in the thing you can in the middle here. It's just so, everybody, this is Brian. One cue to sort that list.
Chơi mấy đứa con nhà ông quá suốt ngày. Cái này mày phải đi học chứ. Tao phải học để tao đi làm chứ. Đúng rồi. Mấy hôm trước tao chơi thấy đủ rồi. Đòi nữa. Mày sao chơi 1 mày đòi 2 rồi đó.
If you don't know what a Q vector is, it's like a better version of an array. So we're going to actually go ahead and just make that little application here.
Rồi đến khi nào tao rảnh tao chơi cho.
Let's include Q string list.
Rồi mình tao đang học này không thấy. Về đi. Tao có rảnh không? Còn nhân vật sự kiện lúc nào sẽ có. Chơi lúc này chơi lúc khác. Xuống xíu. Để nó reset thì nó reset từ đầu chứ. Nó reset thì mày phải cài lại từ đầu nữa. Giờ nó có chơi. Tóc. Hết mùa nó reset ra. Còn vũ khí thì nó đâu mới thưởng cho. Có cài.
Let's call it vect, and we need to give it an upper boundary of 3.
Nhưng cái mặt mày
we can actually copy do that by calling qcopy. And we need to give it a start position and end position. The first argument is where you're starting from. So we'll say list.begin. The second argument is where you want to end. So say list dot end. And the final argument is the output starting position. Where do you want to start? Well, we're copying this to the Q vector, so let's say vect.
Ngu lắm,
Begin.
chỉ trong ma xuống thôi. Có con được kìa.
Sorry about that. My
Thông tin này thử xì với tao
keyboard's
một tháng
slow
rồi.
for video games. Let's just go for each.
Một lần duy nhất. Không, một lần. Tháng thì chơi đúng một ván, còn thua thì
And we want to print out.
Nếu rồi sao?
nếu rồi coi như mày thua.
Anh khôn đấy. Nếu rồi thì em thắng. Rồi con đi.
Rồi thì số lại đi. Rồi khi nào một trong hai người thắng.
Let's see how this works.
1, 2, 3.
So the contents of our
Sau một lần
are now A, B, and C. The same contents we have are
kéo bằng nhau.
list.
Chờ 2 phút nữa sẽ lại.
If you've been paying attention, you notice that
Lâu giờ mình nghĩ trong đầu số cái gì đây.
Hồi thử nay giờ mấy phút rồi.
So let's just say
Chưa sẵn sàng rồi số.
copy out.
Nghĩ trong đầu đây. Rồi, 1, 2, 3.
This is
Mày
the
thua.
what we want to do plus one.
Tập
So
một
we're
suy
going
nghĩ
to
này.
start here.
Mày bán cũng thua thôi.
And when you compile and run
Rồi đấy,
this,
rồi đấy.
Mấy người.
B, C,
Mấy lần mày thử thua tao, tôi đưa mày bán toàn thua.
that's how that works.
Nếu mày nhìn mai mày ngu lắm.
You can also
Anh cũng ngu
do
rồi.
the same by saying
Sáng nay tao chơi toàn thắng.
start copy
Mày ngu thì có.
Dạ cho khi sao thử.
vect.begin plus one.
Được.
In other words, the second item. So let's just go.
Mày nói đâu mà giao kèo mà tự thắng rồi
Let's
chơi.
call the blank item and then B, C. Very simple yet very, very powerful algorithm. Copy. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this
Thôi
educational.
về đi ha.
and
Hôm nay
safe.
em
We're gonna go over
xui
a few
lắm.
more algorithms and then we're going to jump right back
Em
into
gọi xui ra.
the second item. So let's just go. Say contents of our vector are now A,
Khi nào xui thắng em vậy?
and
Vậy
just add
tức là giận mà.
include.
Mà đi bắn súng mà đọc được ý đồ để phương.
Của nó bên này
Phương nó bắn thế nào? Vị trí nó góc chỗ nào? Dùng súng gì bắn?
nếu mà em
Ngắm
gục
tầm ngắm thế nào?
We're going to go over a few more
giờ em
algorithms
tài
and
đâu
then
gì.
jump right.
Nói rồi, em chơi FIFA không vậy đâu.
Giờ dạy
Vui
mà
da không vậy đâu con.
dạy mày được đúng không? Thì đồng
Kéo thì mấy hôm đấy mày không kéo được thì giờ mày ngu. Mai đây,
dạy sớm em cha đi.
6 rồi thứ 6. 6
Mai nhiều mà.
Everybody, this is Brian.
đi ngoại chơi. Đường mấy gì mà được chơi?
45th
Giờ
Q
ngoại
tutorial with C++.
Ở thì chơi máy tính.
Wow, we've
phải không tốt.
made a lot of these, but I think we've learned a lot. Today we're going to be covering the,
Về
what
đi, về đó.
do we want to cover today?
Tao đã cho mày cơ hội dự sự rồi.
Let's do Q-fill.
Mình sẽ dở.
So let's actually go in here and include
Rồi, sử dụng 1, 2, 3. Mày cũng thua.
Q vector.
Về đi, còn nói gì?
Now, in case you're wondering, Q-fill is another algorithm, and what it does is it fills a container.
Đừng có trách.
So let's just say Q-vect, and we're going to fill this with Q strings.
Đặt lên đầu tao nghĩ gì?
Let's call this vect, and let's give it 5.
Rồi,
Now, we have
rồi
actually
mọi người đã
something-
kéo rồi
we
lắm.
have just a
Rồi mình đã
blank
bao.
item. So let's actually
Về đi,
prove that for each.
về đi, về đi, về đi, về đi. Tao đây để sụn.
I spelled Q string right.
Đi mà chơi gì?
Anh nói kết nối qua đây
For
rồi.
those of you that have been following along with these tutorials, yes, I'm still not wearing glasses, so things are a little bit
Yeah.
fuzzy for me, so bear with
Đi
me.
đi. Đi bờ.
And there we go. And let's just print out our vector here. And we'll compile and run this. Sure enough, we've got a blank vector. Now, what we want to do is fill these with an initial value. So what we say is Q, and we give it a container, in this case, vect. And we give it the value, and we'll just say hello world. Compile and run. And now all our items equal hello world. Now, if you were paying attention, you noticed
Rồi
that
đi
there
hả?
was another way of doing this. You can
Mình
give
ngồi
it
đâu bằng
positions. So let's just say
rồi.
vect begin +1
Có mình
and
ngồi đây đi đứng xem mình đi.
dot
Tao đi thể dục.
end -2, and then give it a value. And we'll all just say LOL. My daughter loves
Không
saying that
vợ,
all the time. Drives me insane.
không làm sao biết được.
Okay. So we have
Nói
b
gì
equals
không
1,
sao.
n minus 2, LOL. That's how you give
Đó,
it a ranged fill in. Very simple, very powerful algorithm. It'll save you a lot of typing. This is Brian. I hope you found this tutorial educational and entertaining, and thank you for watching. Hey everybody, this is Brian, and welcome to the, wow, all the way up to the 45th Qt tutorial with C++ and GUI programming. Yeah, wow, we've made a lot of these, but I think we've learned a lot. Today we're going to be covering the, what do we want to cover today? Let's do something a little bit different. Let's do qfill. So let's actually go in here and include
về học đi.
the, wow,
Về ông thương ba mẹ.
we've learned a lot. Hey, well, everybody,
Lớn rồi tương lai
and
sau
welcome to
không
everybody. This
không
is
học
Brian,
mà thi
and
rớt đại
welcome
học
to
rồi.
the everybody. This is Brian, and welcome to the
Nói
everybody. This is Brian, and welcome to the
có gì công
everybody.
an.
This is Brian, and welcome to the let's just say
Anh nghe. Cố gắng.
prove that vector was another and also time.
Ba mẹ cũng già rồi,
Thank you
mẹ
for watching.
bệnh tật.
Is
Ba mẹ mày chết rồi. Sao
we've
mà
learned a lot in here. Fill here. And we've learned a lot in here, and include container. Here we have just a blank, and we compile. Just say
anh không hù đâu, nó sự thật.
hello world. Compile and run. In this case, you could give it simple, very powerful algorithm. It'll save you a lot of typing. This is Brian. Tutorial education.
Về nhà cũng nhà. Bạn không có gì
This
bật.
is Brian. Today we're going to be covering the I've learned a lot here, and it's nothing our value. So what was on the queue? Now, if you were paying attention, you noticed that there was another way of doing this. Thank you for watching. Vect. And so just for this is Brian, and welcome to.
Không muốn nói nhiều lắm đi về. Nhưng mà còn lại thì không thì
Everybody, it's Brian, and welcome to the 46th Qt tutorial with C++ and GUI programming. And today we're going to cover the qfind algorithm. Qfind allows you to find things within a container.
anh không đi được sao đâu.
List,
Đi lên một
and we're going to give it some ints.
đi con.
Call it list. I'm going to fill our list, and we'll just say 1, 5, 15, and let's say 23. Now what we want to do is we want to search that list and find a specific number. Now I know you're thinking, well, I can just do a loop and figure out which one it is, but there's a better and a faster way, and it's called qfind. But to do qfind, we've got to deal with the const iterator, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So
Cái gì ạ?
list,
Cái gì vậy?
and then you say const iterator, and we'll just name it iter.
What?
And then we're going to assign the value.
Mày sợ thì chết, tao cũng sợ chết. Thế mày mà chơi với mày á.
Begin
Anh chơi
to list.n. Oops, hope I spelled in correctly.
Sợ chết mày mượn máy. Em
I think we said we were going to look for 15.
coi YouTube ấy, mình sợ chết.
Now, what that'll do is that'll search, and if it doesn't find it, it's going to equal
Cái tiền tiền sư chết đâu?
iter.
Đấy. Ba mày dễ.
And we'll say not equal. List.
Tao đang cho mày mua máy đâu. Tao mày cho mày mua máy.
I made a boo-boo here, bear with me. There we go.
Anh lớp 15 sinh.
Cái máy ai
So
phải
it
có.
doesn't equal list.n, or the end of the
Cái gì
list,
cũng
which
cái
is
máy ai để xin.
right here after the 23. Then we found a value.
Thì mày mua thôi.
Đó anh. Đi xin gì?
And let's just say found, and we want to actually
Let's see what the
value,
number
so we'll say
Có.
iter.
Còn mình phải ta.
This is a pointer. Say else.
Còn mình gọi rồi gì ạ?
Bug.
Rồi tôi đi ạ.
And we're just going to say not found.
Còn mình xem. Mình phải cái gì đó nữa.
Compile and run.
Cái
We found 15 because there's 15 in our list. And just to prove that this works, let's actually just throw a number in here we know doesn't exist. 99. compile and run, and not found. So that's how qfind works. Now, I know you might be thinking that this is kind of a complex way of doing things.
Chào người đúng không? Như chạy nước rồi.
So if you're coming from, say, Visual Basic or C Sharp, where you used to just, going through an entire list looking for something. It may seem more complex, but it's actually more elegant, and it's much less error-prone, albeit much faster. So I implore you to use it. This is Brian. I hope you found this video educational and entertaining, and thank you for watching. Hey everybody, it's Brian, and welcome to the 46th tutorial of C++ and GUI programming. And today we're going to cover the qfind algorithm. Qfind allows you to find things within a container. So let's just make a QList. Some ints, just to keep it simple. List. Fill our list, and then we'll just say 1, 5, 15, and now what we want to do is we want to search that list and find a specific number. Now I know you're thinking, well, I can just do a for loop and figure out which one it is, but there's a better, faster way. It's called qfind. But to do qfind, we've got to deal with the const iterator, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So say qlist int, and you say const iterator, and we'll just name it iter. And then we're going to assign the value, which is actually going to be qfind. And we want to say the range, which is list.begin, to list.end. Oops, if I spelled in correctly. And the number we're looking for, I think we said we were going to look for 15. Now, what that'll do is that'll search, and if it doesn't find it, it's going to equal the end. And I'll show you what I mean here. If iter, and we'll say not equal list.end. I made a boo-boo here, bear with me. There we go. So if it doesn't equal list.end, or the end of the list, which is right here after the 23, then we found a value. So we'll say qdebug. And let's just say found, and we want to actually print the value, so we will say iter, this is a pointer, and we'll say else, qdebug, and we're just going to say not found. Compile and run, and we found 15 because there's 15 in our list. And just to prove that this works, let's actually just throw a number in here we know doesn't exist. 99. Let's compile and run. And not found. So that's how qfind works. Now, I know you might be thinking that this is kind of a complex way of doing things, especially if you're coming from, say, Visual Basic or C Sharp, where you used to just, going through an entire list looking for something. It may seem more complex, but it's actually more elegant. And it's much less error-prone, and albeit much faster. So I implore you to use it. This is Brian. I hope you found this video educational and entertaining, and thank you for watching. Hey everybody, it's Brian, and welcome to the 46th Qt tutorial with C++ and GUI programming. And today we're going to cover the qfind algorithm. Qfind allows you to find what we will qfind. List bug, say compile and run. Hey everybody, it's list with and then the say I know you threw in it, I'll be the thing in here we know compile or the name it so loop say 20 give it cover within a const. We've got say you have a number you think you can first. Hey everybody, it's Brian. Hey everybody, it's Brian. Welcome to the 47th Qt tutorial. Today we're going to start down the long and winding road of the model view programming architecture. Now, one thing you should know is that this is not unique to Qt. There are other languages that implement this, but Qt implements it very, very well. I was very impressed when I first read about the way they implemented this, and just the ease of use of what you can use. But anyways, I'll quit babbling and just get right to it. What is the model view architecture? Well, you have data, and you put that data, or some of it or all of it, into a model. That model represents the data. Then you have a view, and the view renders the data. Now this view could be like a list view, a combo box, something of that nature. And you have these things called delegates, which can be used for editing or rendering. We'll get into that in other tutorials. What you should focus on this time is that you have data, a model, and a view. Data is obviously your data, model represents your data, and the view renders or displays it. So, I know that seems kind of confusing, so let's just jump right on in here. And we're going to make a sample application here. Call this mod view test. I'll throw it in the usual location. And if you have the official Qt programming book, this is going to look very familiar because I have kind of borrowed heavily official elements out of this tutorial. So let's go list view. Now you notice how there's a list view and a list widget. We've worked with the list widget before. This is what you're used to. This is where you manually add items in. We want the list view. This means it's a view, the model view frame. Or I should say model view architecture. And you cannot really add directly to that. You have to modify the underlying model. Alright, now let's just grab some push buttons. And I know that I've been doing kind of shorter tutorials, and well, that's about to change. I got a feeling this is going to be a longer one. Let's do a combo box. Let's just drop that down here. Let's grab these. And let's just set our layout here. We'll say add, insert, and delete. Now, what we're going to do here, let me explain real quick what we're going to do, is we have our list view, and this is where we're going to do the bulk of our work. And we have three buttons, add, insert, and delete, which will respectively add, insert, or delete data to and from the model. When the model updates, our list view and our combo box are both going to be sharing the same model, so they're going to update at the same time. It's going to really show you the power of the model view architecture and how you really use things. Now, because my time with YouTube videos is pretty limited, I'm going to have to keep this kind of a simple tutorial. Actually, I'm going to open that back up. Let's just get our CSS out of the way here. So, say, insert, and one more, let's go delete. Alright, now let's just flip into dialog.h. We're going to add some includes here just for the sake of time. And let's just go ahead. In the private section, what we're going to add here is we're going to add a QStringless model. It's going to be a pointer called model. Save your work. Close that. And jump back into your implementation file, the dialog.cpp. And this is where the real work's going to be done here. And what we're going to do is we are going to say QString list model. And we're going to set this into the dialog. And we need to actually generate our data. So what we're going to do is say QString list. And let's just fill this with some random data here. So we'll say list, we'll say cats, because you know I like cats, and dogs, and let's say birds. Now, we've got our model, we've got our views, and we've got our data. Now we've got to tie everything together here. So we're going to say model, set string list, and we're going to give it the list. And what that does is that fills the model with this data. So that data is going into this model. Now we need to tie the model and the views together. So we'll say UI, list view, set model, and let's say UI, combo box, set model, and that's it. It's pretty simple. Now, one thing we're going to add real quick here is we're going to add the ability to manually go in and modify the list view. So say list view, set edit triggers, and this determines how edit mode is triggered. Like if you want to double click or if you press a key and it'll start editing the item. So say Q abstract. Hope if I could spell abstract. And we're looking for Q abstract item view. There we are. And we want any key pressed. And if this seems a bit confusing, just bear with me here. And let's just copy and paste this. I promise you this will be much, much clearer at the end of this tutorial. And we'll say, see any key pressed and double click. So what we're doing here is we're saying UI list view set edit triggers. This is what edit mode is triggered by. Any key pressed or double click. So if you press any key or you double click it, it's going to go into edit mode. So let's actually scroll over here. Now we've got our signals and slots. Now before we really get into that, let's actually compile and run this, make sure we've got a good working program here. And I kind of want to show you the drift of what's going on. Tick-tock, there it goes. Okay, so our model is holding the data, and you see we've got two views, the list view here and the combo box here. And we have three items in there. So we're going to implement the add, insert, and delete. Now our edit mode should be in there. So say wizard. And when you update it, the underlying model is updated, which updates all the views. Pretty neat. So let's implement add, insert, and delete really, really quickly. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to get the position of where we want to put this. So we'll say int row equal model row count, because we want to put this at the end. And then we're going to say model insert rows. And what this does is allows us to insert one or more rows. So you give it the position, the position, and how many you want to insert. And that inserts it. I mean, that's all there really is to it. But now what we want to do is instantly set it into edit mode. So what we need to do is grab the Q model index. Now the Q model index is the position within that model. Because remember, you might not be displaying all the data. Say index equal model index, and we want the position of row. And now we need to set edit mode, so we'll say UI, list view, set current, oops, sorry about that, set current index, and we give it the Q model index. What that does is that selects the item that we're looking for, and then UI, list view, and we want to trigger edit mode, and give it the index again. So, just to recap, when we click the add button, we're going to find the position we want to put it in, and in this case we're going to put it at the end, and then we're going to insert the rows, and we're going to put it in that position. Then we're going to find the Q model index, or the position in that model where that is, and then we're just going to select it and set edit mode. Just copy that, and on insert we just paste that in there. The only real difference between adding and inserting is, well, you guessed it, the position where we're putting this. So let's just go UI, and what do we want here? List view, current index, and we want the row of the current index. And delete. Well, delete, remember, you don't really modify the view, you modify the model. So we need to go model, remove rows, whoops. And we need to tell it what row and how many. So we want UI, list view, current index, because we want the current item. row. And how many? We just want to delete one of them. Save your work, compile and run. Now, we should be able to add whatever we want here. So we'll say lizards, spiders, and let's just say we don't like spiders, so let's delete spiders. But we want to put, let's say, kittens, because kittens and cats are two different animals. And you notice how when we update the model, all the views are updated as well. So let's say somebody comes and goes, well, cats and kittens are the same thing, I hate to tell you, so delete kittens. You see how everything's updated in real time. That, in a nutshell, is the model view architecture and how it functions. Yes, it gets much more complex than this, and this is a very high-level tutorial, but we're not there yet. We will be. Model view architecture and how it functions. Yes, it gets much more complex than this, and this is a very high-level tutorial, but we're not there yet. So, we define for educational and entertaining, and thank you for watching. Hey everybody, it's Brian.